Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about two incredible but really different journeys that both lead to the same amazing goal, creating a family. We're going to break down natural conception versus IVF side by side.
So what is the real difference between the two? It's so much more than just saying one is nature and one is science, right? We're going to look at everything from where it all begins to the role your own body plays in the whole process.
Exactly. So, to get us started, let's take a big step back and get a bird's eye view. We'll walk through the main steps of each path just to see how they're built from the ground up.
Okay, so with natural conception, it's all about the body's own internal clock. It's this beautiful, perfectly timed dance. An egg is released, it meets the sperm in the fallopian tube, develops while it's making its way to the uterus, and then, finally, it snuggles into the uterine lining. The whole thing really depends on everything being in sync and working just right.
And this just shows the contrast with IVF so well. It's a much more hands-on process, Instead of just one egg, medications help your body produce a bunch of them. Those eggs are then collected, fertilized in a lab, they grow for a few days in this protected environment, and then an embryo is transferred directly into the uterus. Every single step is basically designed to help overcome any hurdles that nature might throw in the way.
Right, so let's zoom in on that one magical moment, fertilization, because this is where the two paths really start to go in different directions.
Let's just start with the name itself, in vitro. It literally means in glass. And that's just the perfect description because it gets right to the heart of it. Fertilization is happening outside of the body, in a little lab dish.
So the key here is the location. Naturally, it's this whole biological journey to a very specific spot, the fallopian tube. But with IVF, that meeting point gets moved to a super controlled scientific setting in the lab. And that one change, that one shift in location can make all the difference for people who are dealing with certain kinds of infertility.
I absolutely love this analogy. In nature, it really is like a marathon. Millions of sperm are competing, and only the absolute strongest one makes it to the finish line to fertilize the egg. It's pure natural selection. But IVF? Well, that's more like a guided process. The sperm are prepared, given a clear path, or with a technique called ICSI, a single, really promising sperm is basically handpicked and gets a personal introduction. Okay, so that brings us to the body itself. How do all the different parts of the reproductive system play a role in these two journeys? Because you'll see, some parts are absolutely crucial for one path and, well, completely bypassed in the other.
Oh, for sure. Let's start with the big one, the fallopian tubes. For natural conception, they are the essential highway. They're where everything important happens. But in IVF, they're completely bypassed. This is exactly why IVF is such a game changer for women who have blocked or damaged tubes. It just works around the problem.
And what about the cervix? Naturally, it's like this smart gatekeeper. It produces this special mucus that helps the good sperm get through while filtering out the rest. In IVF, its role is a lot more passive. It's basically just a passageway for that tiny little catheter that places the embryo inside the uterus. That's another really fascinating difference. A naturally conceived embryo takes this 5 to 7 day scenic trip down the fallopian tube, growing and changing the whole way. But an IVF embryo spends those first few days developing in a lab and then gets a direct express transfer right into the uterus.
So, I think a really clear theme is starting to pop up here, and it's all about control. IVF is really about taking the body's incredible, but sometimes, unpredictable processes and managing them with real scientific precision. And that control starts right with the hormones. Your body naturally runs on this amazing internal feedback loop between your brain and your ovaries. It's like a self-regulating symphony. IVF, on the other hand, is kind of like bringing in an external conductor. All the medications and injections take over to direct the hormones and, essentially, override the natural cycle.
Yeah, and this changes the whole goal of the cycle. Nature is totally focused on perfecting one single high-quality egg. It's all about quality over quantity. IVF kind of flips that strategy on its head. The goal is to get multiple mature eggs at once, which creates more opportunities for a successful embryo.
And having multiple embryos leads us to one of the biggest advantages of IVF, cryopreservation, or freezing. This gives people incredible flexibility. For instance, you can wait for the absolute perfect time to transfer an embryo, which sometimes leads to higher success rates.
It also helps reduce certain health risks, gives you more attempts from just one cycle, and it allows time for genetic testing if that's something you need.
Okay, so we have covered a ton: fertilization, anatomy, control. Now, let's bring it all home to the final critical step that both of these journeys have in common: implantation. This is that moment the embryo actually attaches to the uterus.
And guess what? Even here, the timing is different. After natural conception, implantation usually happens about 6 to 10 days after ovulation. But with IVF, since the embryo is transferred directly into the uterus when it's already a few days old, implantation can start much sooner, often just 1 to 3 days after the transfer.
So when you step back and look at them both, they really are two different kinds of masterpieces, aren't they? One is this incredible marvel of biology's own complex, self-regulating system, and the other is an equally incredible marvel of scientific innovation designed to help that system along when it needs it. And as we wrap things up, we want to be super clear about something. Our entire discussion here today has been for educational and informational purposes only. It is absolutely not a substitute for professional medical advice. For any medical questions, please always talk to a doctor.
Of course. And if you'd like to learn more about the complete IVF process, a really great resource you can check out is the portal IVF for Me at ivfforme.com. Which leaves us all with one final thought to ponder. As science keeps giving us more and more amazing tools to work with our own biology, where does that line between the natural world and technology truly lie? It's something pretty amazing to think about. Thanks so much for joining us.